Most comedians are funny because they're able to put a comedic twist on experiences that their audience is likely to be familiar with. Bo Burnham does this frequently.
I went to Kanye West's recent tour, the Yeezus tour. It was a big, dramatic, theatrical show. He did something very strange at the end of his show where he ranted for like 20 minutes. It was kind of a rant, kind of a song. He had auto-tune on his voice, and there was an instrumental in the background. Like this instrumental. He talked about his problems. Race. Power. His $90 t-shirts weren't selling very well. That was most of it. And I watched this. I thought maybe I could do this. I went to Chipotle. Went to Chipotle. Got myself a chicken burrito. I went down the line. I got like all these ingredients, and then at the end of the line, the guy tried to wrap the burrito, but half of the shit inside the burrito spilled out. He still wrapped it. I was like, dude, you should have warned me. You're a burrito expert. You should have told me halfway through. Hey man, you might be reaching maximum.
The comedy of this bit comes from the juxtaposition of Bo's first world problems with an overly dramatic style of delivery. Most people who have had a burrito at Chipotle can probably relate to what Bo is talking about here. Also, most people who are familiar with Kanye West are probably aware of the kinds of rants that he goes on from time to time. It's this familiarity that makes us laugh at the bit. It adds a funny twist to a shared experience. Someone who has never had a burrito at a fast casual Tex-Mex chain or isn't aware of Kanye West's tendencies probably wouldn't find it nearly as funny. This is a fairly typical way of structuring a comedy bit. Take a shared cultural artifact and tease out its humor with exaggeration. Reveal the comedic parts of it that people usually take for granted. Bo Burnham does this well, but I think the most interesting part of his performances is his ability to add twists to the medium of comedy itself. This is his meta-comedy. We can see an example of this meta-comedy in the same bit that we just looked at. The first part of the bit is pretty standard operating procedure for stand-up comedy, perhaps excluding the fact that Burnham delivers it through a song. But later on in the bit, Burnham takes a really interesting turn. He begins reflecting on his role as a comedian directly.
I can sit here and pretend like my biggest problems are Pringle cans and burritos. The truth is my biggest problem's you. I want to please you, but I want to stay true to myself. I want to give you the night out that you deserve, but I want to say what I think and not care what you think about it. A part of me loves you, part of me hates you, part of me needs you, part of me fears you.
The dual purpose of Burnham's comedy is really clear in this bit because he's performing two roles within the same song. In the beginning, he acts like a typical comedian, finding humor in everyday experience. But he quickly takes a turn towards meta-comedic concerns, using his lyrics to reflect on his role as a stand-up comedian, the role he was just playing seconds before in the first part of the song. He begins reflecting on his relationship with his audience, on the control they exert over him, and the spillover from his performances into his personal life. The audience experiences a piece of stand-up comedy, and then they're immediately challenged to reflect on what that means for themselves and for the performer. This is a commentary on the medium of stand-up comedy, but in a few cases, Burnham actually takes it a step farther, commenting on the medium of pre-recorded stand-up comedy specials specifically. I think one of the best examples of this is his video editor joke from his special What?
I got a really good joke about video editors. Video editors are so fucking... I think we should do a poem right now, if that's okay. This poem is a little bit sappy, a little bit romantic, so we'll get it out of the way now.
In many recorded comedy specials, the goal is to treat the person viewing the special at home as if they're just a member of the live audience. They pretty much see exactly what they would have seen if they had attended the live event. Burnham doesn't do this. He plays with the medium of recorded comedy, pulling off a joke that's only achievable because of his ability to edit the final product. I think this is really cool because it makes the experience of seeing the live performance totally distinct from seeing the recorded performance. It also adds a meta-comedic commentary to the piece. By including this joke, Burnham is showing off his ability to tailor the final product exactly how he chooses. He often makes comments about how his entire stage persona is manufactured. The video editor joke is a clever way to use the medium of recorded comedy to further highlight this artifice. Another great example of this, which I think is one of Burnham's most emotionally charged bits, is at the end of Make Happy, where he leaves the stage and goes into a back room where he performs a song just for the audience watching at home.
Oh, good, it's just us.
Now the show is done. I hope that you had gut trembling or something resembling fun. And if you watch this thing alone, you probably didn't laugh, but maybe a few times you exhaled out of your nose. But if you hate it...
There are a lot of artists who have mastered the mechanics of their medium and create entertaining, well-crafted pieces of art using those tools. But I think some of the best artists are the ones who use the tools of a medium to comment directly on the medium itself. This is a well-documented component of many films and novels, but I haven't seen many pieces of stand-up comedy that do the same thing. Bo Burnham's ability to explore both the medium of the live stand-up comedy routine and the pre-recorded comedy special makes him one of the most innovative names in comedy today. There are far too many examples of Bo Burnham's meta-comedy to include in a single video. I think to varying degrees, nearly all of his bits have a metacomedic component to them. But if you're interested in this, a few that I'd specifically recommend checking out include Sad, which is a song from What, as well as his so-called improv with an audience member in Make Happy. Thanks for watching.